Hi, welcome to Safe Moves Easeful Posture, the class where we're going to spend the next 20 to 25 minutes or so working on our posture from our feet up to our head, maybe our head down to our feet. We're going to work on posture everywhere. Today we're going to start lying on our towel, so make sure you have your towel and meet me on the mat. All right, so fold your towel like this and then roll it up so you have a nice thick little roll. If you have a foam roller, you can use that instead, but the towel does just fine. Go ahead and lay it on your mat vertical and then yourself right down over it. You want to make sure your head is supported, and if the edge of the towel is hitting your low back in any sort of discomfort, go ahead and scoot around until you find a place that feels nice and comfortable. Arms by your side and take in some nice deep breaths. So what we're trying to do here is to open up the fronts of the chest and the fronts of the shoulders. Really important when it comes to navigating through life easily with good posture. Slide your arms up towards the top of your mat, and then slide your arms down by your side. Let your arms be as heavy as they can be along the floor. Really draggy. Drag them up, drag them down. And if you're not already doing it, exhale as your arms go towards the wall behind you. Inhale as your arms come down by your side. Exhale, arms slide to the top, rib cage stays down and heavy. Inhale, arms come down. And then find the place where you feel the best stretch through the fronts of your shoulders. It's usually towards the top somewhere. And let your arms be heavy and still. As you breathe, soften your rib cage down into the towel more and more and more. If you can intensify this stretch without actually moving without moving your arms at all. And then turn your head to one side of your room. Hold it there for a moment and get a stretch in the opposite side of your neck. And then turn and look to the other side of your room. Same thing, pause for a moment and get a neck stretch. And back to the first side. Back to the second. All right, look up at the ceiling. And now bend your elbows into a W, and your arms will come down to a W position. And then straighten the arms, bringing them into a Y position. And bend your elbows, arms in the W position, and then straighten out to the Y, back and forth. Arms are still as heavy as can be on the floor. Hold your next W position and turn your head one way. Hold it there, getting a stretch in your neck. And turn your head the other way. Hold it. And the first way. And the second way. And bring your face back to the ceiling. Now keep your elbows slightly bent. And now we're going to move into an O position. This is a newer letter stretch for us. So your arms are going to still stay heavy on the floor, as heavy as can be. You're sliding them up towards the top of your mat, but you're maintaining that bend in your elbows. So your hands will eventually start sliding together up over the crown of your head. And then you can open your O stretch back down into your W stretch. So you're going from W to O. And one more. Slide your arms down by your side. Right hand to the right shoulder, left hand to the left shoulder, and make the biggest elbow circle as you can. You can let your rib cage move. You can let your shoulder blades move. Anything can move as long as you're drawing big circles. And reverse it. And then bring your arms down by your side. All right, roll off your towel and just push it off to the side. Let the mat support you. Notice the curves in your spine, what curves in, what curves out. Notice what's heavy and what's light. We're going to move into some bridges. Having a mobile spine is super important for easeful posture because if our spine can't move, we're not going to be able to put it in the places it needs to be. So we're going to do some bridges. Pull your belly button down towards the floor and then pull it up the inside of your spine to rock your pelvis towards you. Then start pressing into your feet, lengthening through the fronts of your legs, roll up into your bridge. Nice high hips, nice heavy rib cage, roll it down. Taking your time to get each and every vertebrae, or at least trying to. Rock your pelvis with your belly muscles, not your leg muscles. And then press into your feet, start lengthening or start rolling up, lengthen down your femur bones and out your kneecaps. Go at your own pace. Whatever bridge you're on right now can be your last one. So when you land that tailbone down, you can stay down. Find your neutral spine position. And then take your hands down to your low belly or to your hip bones. Anywhere that will help you to keep that pelvis still. So the hands give you a little bit of feedback. Go ahead and lift the right leg up so the knee is floating just over the hip joint. And then place it down. And lift the left knee up so it's floating just over the hip joint. And think about lifting the knee, not the foot. The foot will come along. And down. So this is a pretty easy movement to do, but when you're working hard to keep the pelvis still with those deep core muscles, it gets a lot harder. So be really specific. Close your eyes if it helps you. And there's going to be no teetering in the pelvis as you move the leg. Keep going back and forth. Whatever leg you're on now can be your last one. Place both feet down on the floor. Let those belly muscles relax. All right, pick up the fronts of your feet. Angle them out, place them down. Pick up your heels, angle them out, place them down. Toes out, heels out, toes out, heels out, toes in, heels in, toes in, heels in. Keep doing this back and forth, out and in, and go as fast as you can. Even faster than you think you can. And you're going to start to feel a good burn in those ankles, maybe in your shins and calves. Keep it up, hold to it. A few more rounds. And next time you're wide, you can stay wide. Whew, that's a big workout for those ankles. All right, drop your left knee in towards your midline. And we're trying to get that left knee to touch the floor, but keep in contact with your knee. We don't want the knee to be unhappy about it. And your left hip can lift up off the floor slightly, but try to keep that left shoulder down. So not only are we getting some hip mobility here, but we're also getting a little bit of mid-back mobility. You feel that little slight rotation in your mid-back, kind of the lower part of your mid-back, to get specific. And then ease into it. See if you can get your knee any lower. And then lift that left leg back up so the kneecap is pointing up. It's going to stay pointing up. Drop your right knee in towards your center. This side might be different. Pay attention to how your knee is doing. And lift it back up. Right kneecap is going to stay pointing to the ceiling. Left knee down. We're going to go quicker. Left knee up. Right knee down. Right knee up. The knee that is not folding in towards the center is staying pointed up towards the ceiling. Try to keep those shoulders evenly heavy on the floor as you go side to side. Last one each side. Both kneecaps pointing towards the ceiling. Walk your feet in. All right, pick up your right leg and hold on to the back of it. And you don't need to be in a neutral spine position here, nor do you need to have that right leg straight. We're just getting our foot up in the air to do some ankle work. All right, fully flex your foot. And then press just the ball of your foot up towards the ceiling, and then point your toes completely. And then press, flex, press, point. Keep going back and forth through those 3 stretches. I'm trying to keep the legs still, but try to see if you can feel some work, some engagement, some stretching all the way through your lower legs as your foot moves. Spread your toes. Next time you're in the press position, hold it. Spread those toes even more. Circle your ankle. Leg is still staying still, but you should feel some stuff going on in it. Reverse. And then bend that knee and shake your foot out. Place your right foot down on the mat right next to your left foot and just notice if anything feels different. And it might not, but you might get a cool sensation that your right foot's a lot bigger than the left. So let's do the left so we can make them the same size again. All right, so foot up in the air. You're holding onto the back of your leg. Fully flex, and then press, point, press, flex. Keep going between those 3 stretches. Spread your toes. Next time you're in the press position, hold it, circle your ankle. Reverse. Bend your knee and shake your foot out. All right, feet are on the floor, arms by your side, palms just facing up, out of the way. Drop both knees over to the right. Sink into that twist, that gentle twist through your mid-back. Then reach through your left hip to pull those knees back up to center, kneecaps pointing towards the ceiling, and drop to the left. Reach through that right hip, pull everything back up to center. Keep going side to side. Letting those legs be heavy, doing all the work from those deep core muscles, mostly your obliques here. Try to maintain even weight in your shoulder blades and through the backs of your arms the whole time. Last one. And when you complete that one, roll over to your right side. And so now we're going to do the opposite. So just before we were keeping our upper body, the upper part of our spine stable as we were mobilizing the lower part. Now we're going to mobilize the upper part. So feet, knees, hips are all stacked. You have a nice light waistline. Your rib cage is heavy on the floor right now. Bring your left arm up towards the ceiling and then bend your elbow, bringing your hand behind your head. All right, now without letting anything from the pelvis down move, twist open towards the ceiling as much as you can. And then use these oblique muscles to pull your rib cage back up to neutral. So the arm is just following. Open up towards the ceiling. And pull your rib cage back up. Stack it up. And keep going. We have about 2 or 3 more on this side, and then you can switch to the other side. Before you get going, make sure you find that nice alignment through your body. Stack hips, stack knees, stack feet. Rotate open and pull it back. This side might feel different. And 2 or 3 more. And then when you're done, roll up onto your hands and knees. Have your hands be right under your shoulders. Or I'm sorry, your wrists should be right underneath your shoulders and your knees are underneath your hips. As you exhale, pull your belly button up towards the ceiling. Let that start rounding the rest of your spine. Let your tailbone and your head drop. And then keeping those arms nice and strong, nice and straight, go ahead and melt your spine down between your shoulder blades. Reach the crown of your head and your tailbone to the 2 opposite sides of your room. And belly button pulls up. Let that initiate. Just move back and forth between those 2 stretches. As your spine is rounding up towards the ceiling, try to create more space between every vertebrae. And as your spine is coming down towards the floor, try to create more length from the crown of your head to your tailbone. And then at some point, find the place in the center. You're in more of a neutral position. Look over your left shoulder, stretching out your right side. And come back to center. Look over your right shoulder. Try to keep your hips pretty much on top of those knees for this one. And one more time each side. And then come back to center. Arms are going to stay straight. There's no bending at the elbows at all. You're in a neutral spine position. I want you to lower your spine down towards the floor a little bit. So if you need to see what that looks like, check out your screen. It's a very small movement. You're going to feel your shoulder blades hugging together on your back. And then push into the floor. Press your spine up towards the ceiling. Feel your shoulder blades slide apart from each other. Shoulder blades hug in. Spine comes down. Shoulder blades spread apart. Spine lifts up. Your spine is pretty much staying in the same shape, but you're moving it up and down. So the curves aren't changing. Really push into the floor as you're coming up. Let that push through the hands get you up there. One more time. And then press yourself back into a child's pose. Take your knees wide so we can get a little extra hip stretch in there. Hands out long in front of you. Rest your forehead on the floor. Take a few deep breaths. And then walk your hands over to the left, getting a good stretch in that right side again. And then walk your hands over to the right. And then come back to center. Pull your belly button towards the wall behind you. And roll yourself up to sitting. Thanks so much for joining me today for Easeful Posture. I hope as you move throughout your day, that feels really good in your whole body. And I'll see you next time. Bye.